Hey, what's up, guys? Well, you probably didn't see anything, for those of you who didn't catch it, here is the footage again, some amazing footage. And I want you to keep your eye on the very right side of this clip, and it happens very quickly. We've edited out just this small stretch of the footage that actually shows this black saucer appearing very eerily over the tree line. And it happens very quickly, as you're seeing. And again, we will zoom in for you and let you watch the footage up close. And look as this thing appears over the trees and passes by the view of the camera, unbeknownst to the driver in the car or his daughter, who is actually the one who filmed this footage. Now, this was taken near Chillicothe, Ohio, and this was on a major stretch of highway heading down south through southern Ohio. And the source's daughter was actually just messing around with the phone, recording various things, and it wasn't until later was this strange object seen in the footage as the daughter was watching it and showed it to her father, who then eventually sent it to us. This was actually captured a few weeks ago. And because Secure Team is so well known now, especially over the past year, we are much more available to those out there who would capture footage like this, and it's simply amazing. Here are some still images of this black saucer, and this is the best shot of all of the frames containing the saucer. You can clearly see it appear. It's hovering over this tree line. It doesn't actually look to be moving, because if you watch the video, you can see that it begins to appear as the source's car gets closer and closer to the tree line, and as it passes by, it looks as if it's simply sitting quiet and steady just above the tree line. Does not look like it's flying anyway. It's very eerie, and it may not look like it, but these are extremely tall trees, and this would have to be a good-sized craft that we're seeing here. And as you're seeing in this still image taken just before the tree line goes out of view when the UFO is at its largest. And this is also the clearest image of the object, where it looks like the camera got, a single clear frame of the object, which even more mysteriously seems to have these odd pins sticking out of the bottom of it as it sits there quietly hovering over these trees. Now, I don't know if it simply materialized for a moment. We don't have enough footage to know if it simply came into view as the camera got closer, or if it materialized and it was simply a coincidence that the camera was able to catch it materializing when it did. It's certainly not the first time that it's happened. And here is another still frame of the craft. And again, this thing would have to be massive in reference to the tree line and how large these trees are. These are some very tall trees. It's definitely not a drone, unless you can point me to a drone that is the size of a car or a small bus that is in the shape of a massive black disc that can sit completely still in the sky and possibly materialize and dematerialize at will. And if you've been watching our channel lately, we've been talking about these craft that are in our skies as we blissfully go on about our days, not knowing that these massive machines are directly above us. We recently posted a video in which one of these massive machine-like structures were captured in the clouds over Tennessee, and that object was hundreds of times larger than this one, that briefly became visible in the clouds. And the sources of these objects have noted hearing strange sounds in the sky, as if there was a large machine above them, but there's never anything there when looking up. And so these UFOs are always just out of sight. They are lurking. They are mysteriously cunning and clever in the way they maneuver, so as that you wouldn't even notice they're there, such as in this particular case. Now, what they're doing here, I do not know. But what I do know is that this is an amazing piece of footage, and it has shocked the source who captured it. And this isn't the only piece of footage we've gotten lately. We're going to show you a couple pieces of UFO footage that we've received lately, some of which links back directly to past UFO videos. We are seeing some, and people are capturing some of the same UFOs that have been seen and shown on this channel from across the country. And they're being seen again, and they continue to be recorded. So we will get to that footage too, and a few other amazing pieces of footage that we've gotten lately. So we have a second piece of footage that you're seeing here that was of another one of these glowing orbs captured on March 26th at about 8:30 p.m. And it may not look like it from the video, but the source stated that as he watched it, he said the speed of this thing looked to be moving at about 30 miles a minute. This is definitely a quickly moving object making its way through the sky. And speaking of strange lights in the sky, we have another piece of footage that was captured over Phoenix, Arizona on April 11th. And as you're seeing in the footage here, the source saw a bright object in the sky that would disappear and then reappear. And as you're seeing in the footage, it was shot vertically. So, but as you're seeing, there's some lights on the ground. These are actually from homes. And if you look at the bright dot right in the sky in the center, that is the UFO. And there's actually helicopters circling this thing, which you will see throughout this video. You will see other objects in the sky, the helicopters that have their usual flashing lights on them, as you're seeing here. And they seem to keep their distance from this object, but are nonetheless circling it, as if to monitor it, but not getting too close. And as you can see, the object changes in color, it changes in its brightness, and at some points completely vanishes for a few moments before reappearing. And then later in the footage, we see what looks like a second helicopter appear, and at no time do these helicopters pass by. It's as if they are following this object and nonetheless are doing it at a safe distance. And this isn't the first time we've seen aircraft, whether it be military or police, following these UFOs, tracking them. And this includes helicopters, fighter jets of all kinds. And at some points we've seen them chasing these UFOs. But of course, not being able to keep up with the speed of some of these crafts that are gone and leave some of our best fighter jets in the dust. So again, it's a very interesting piece of footage, and it's actually about an 8-minute long video. So we will put the link to it down in the video description, and you can watch the entire thing and get a better look of it and ask the source any questions that you might have. So on to the next video. And as I said earlier, this UFO footage directly correlates with 3 other pieces of footage that we recently published in a video. The video we're talking about, we will put the link to, once again, down in the video description, of these 2 mysterious orbs that were captured across the United States. And as you're seeing in the video here, these are identical to the 2 orbs. And we're calling them orbs simply because we don't know what the structure is. But they always appear as 2 lights. And these are the same distance, size, and are identical to the footage that was captured in Northridge, California, and to another piece of footage that was captured in Washington earlier in the month. And here's the footage that was captured in Northridge, California from our previous video showing the same 2 orbs. And it was noted that these orbs were rotating in the sky. They would maneuver, they would rotate, and they would sit still in the sky for a short period of time and then begin rotating, after which they would sit still again before suddenly moving out of sight across the sky. And again, this is the Northridge, California footage. And when we originally posted this footage, some of the people in the comments said, when we spoke about these objects rotating, well, they said, well, that could just be the camera operator rotating the camera. Which brings me back to our new clip of these same 2 objects, in which you can see the side of the man's house who's recording it in the footage to the left side, which gives you a reference point to how the source is holding the camera. And you'll notice that these same 2 objects that are being seen all over the United States begin rotating. and you'll notice that the source is not rotating his camera. He is holding it still. The side of his home does not change its position. These objects begin rotating before flying off to the left, out of sight, and again, same identical objects now seen by 4 different people in 4 different parts of the United States. I mean, look at these things. Here they are rotating and doing the same maneuvers that they've done on the other pieces of footage that we posted on. So there's something going on. There's something to these 2 strange objects that are always together and seem to be maneuvering as if they are controlled by some sort of intelligence. And they have been seen from the east to the west in the United States, as well as Canada. So, explain it to me, because I'm mystified, and so are all the sources who have seen these objects. So, we definitely are living in some interesting times. I've been getting an onslaught of messages and emails and pieces of footage, such as the one you're seeing here. And we've had some amazing sightings lately. One of those sightings we're playing for you again here that can't be explained by natural causes. Once again, shot by a local car dealer in Canada of another formation of these mysterious lights in the sky, which, when zoomed out, looked like a single object, such as a star. But when he zoomed in, he was able to capture this amazing formation where in which some of the lights disappear and other lights appear. And that was some groundbreaking footage. So if you haven't seen that video, once again, we'll post a link to it. All of the footage that we've posted here, we will put the links to, and you decide for yourself. But we are definitely living in strange times. We've gotten some amazing footage here, and some of the best footage I've seen of these saucer-shaped craft. The saucer, in general, is one of the oldest, being seen back into the 20s and 30s and 40s. The flying saucer, of course, a phenomenon that goes back centuries. Whether you're speaking about Roswell or saucers being depicted in ancient paintings, these things existed and they have been seen for hundreds of years. Now, whether this saucer was being piloted by us or them, it's definitely some extremely eerie footage, to say the least. So, again, keep sending in your footage. We'll keep publishing it. Big thanks to everyone who sent in their video. We will continue the good fight for disclosure. And as always, be sure to stick right here with Secure Team. And let's get this footage out there. So share it around, like it on your way out, and be sure to subscribe because we've got a lot more coming your way. Alright, so stay tuned, and we'll see you back soon. Stay safe, guys. Thank you.